Welcome, everyone. Today we're exploring something pretty deep, actually. It's an idea that really challenges how we approach, well, almost everything. Our desires, our problems, our whole life, really.
Mm.
So many of us, and maybe we don't even realize it, we live from this place of kind of begging. Like we're always needing something, always reaching out for more.
Always wanting, yeah. Believing that abundance or happiness or love is somewhere out there.
Exactly, something we have to get. But what if that whole picture is just wrong? What if we're actually like heirs to this incredible, infinite abundance that's already inside us?
Right, just waiting for us to sort of
Yeah.
claim it.
So that's our mission today. We're going to unpack some really powerful insights from, ancient wisdom. We're drawing from the Bhagavad Gita, the poetry of Malana, even thoughts from the Dalai Lama.
Huh, quite the lineup.
Yeah. And we want to understand why we feel this need to beg, what that really costs us, and most importantly, how we can maybe shift from that feeling of lack to, well, receiving what's already ours.
And it's so important to get this. This isn't just about money. I mean, that can be part of it, sure.
Right.
But this is much bigger. It's about how you approach love, your health, getting validation, finding joy. It touches literally every part of your experience. It's a total rethink.
Okay, so where do we start with such a massive idea? Well, the sources actually begin somewhere very immediate, very personal. Their own bodies,
Yeah.
our breath. Why start there? It seems almost too simple.
Well, it's about grounding, isn't it?
Mm.
Presence. The sources talk a lot about this practice. It's like Tanarami in Farsi, basically. Deep body relaxation.
Oh, okay.
You consciously connect with your body, with your breath. Just think about how our minds race all the time.
Right.
Worrying, planning.
Oh, yeah, constantly.
And that puts so much pressure, so much stress on our physical bodies. The source even mentions chronic inflammation, often linked to this constant stress, as maybe a root cause of lots of physical issues.
So it's more than just chilling out. It's like a physiological reset. What happens right away when you consciously relax? Is it just in your head or?
No, absolutely. There's a physical shift. Right away, when you consciously let go in the body, you release that built-up tension, physically and mentally. It's like step one towards finding that inner quiet.
Okay, that makes sense. Building from that physical calm, the source then adds something. Well, surprisingly simple. Gratitude. And just smiling. How can little things like that make such a big difference to our energy?
It's incredibly powerful, even though it sounds small. The source literally calls gratitude and a smile the easiest, cheapest, fastest way to immediately elevate your energy.
Huh, really?
Yeah. When you genuinely smile, even if you kind of have to make yourself do it at first, it changes your body chemistry. It tells your nervous system, okay, things are all right, I'm open. It shifts you out of that tense, closed-off state of lack or worry.
Into a state of receiving, maybe.
Exactly. You're setting your internal stage. You become more aligned naturally with what you actually want to experience.
That foundation is powerful. Presence, gratitude. Okay, so building on that, the source then jumps into this really mind-bending concept from the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says something pretty direct to Arjuna about how we ask for things. What's going on there?
Yeah, this is core. Krishna, who's like the embodiment of divine love and consciousness, tells Arjuna straight up. He doesn't like seeing him begging through life.
Begging, what does that mean here?
It's not literal panhandling. It's that inner voice, that constant, oh, I need this, please give me that. If only I had.
Ah, that feeling of lack.
Precisely. And Krishna's reason is so simple, it's almost shocking. He says, look, your real needs, water, food, breath. That's it.
Wow.
And if you're here listening, you have those. Everything else, everything beyond that basic survival, it's framed as a want, not a fundamental need.
That really flips the script on what we think we
Yeah.
need. So how does that energy, that wanting, constantly feeling we're missing something, how does that actually create more wanting, more lack?
Well, our minds are amazing at convincing us, aren't they? I need that promotion. I need that relationship to be happy. I need more money.
All the time.
And believing that leads straight to feeling sad when we don't have it, complaining, feeling like life's unfair. And then comes the big reveal from Krishna, the heart of it all. He tells Arjuna something like, you are my child. You come from me. You inherit everything, all wealth, all consciousness, all joy, all passion. Everything I have is already yours. So why, he asks, why are you on your knees begging for pennies?
Wow, begging for pennies, that hits hard. So that's our true inheritance, this connection to everything.
That's the idea. It just shatters that illusion of lack we live under.
Okay, so begging for pennies, how does that show up day to day? It's clearly not just about asking for money. Can you give some examples?
Oh, it's everywhere once you start looking. The source really broadens the definition. It's begging for affection or attention from a partner, right?
Yeah, definitely seen that.
Or begging for approval from your boss, or maybe validation from your parents, even decades later. It's even their hanging nature or God or whatever for good health, but from that place of feeling like you lack it.
So anytime we approach something feeling needy or insufficient.
Exactly. Anytime we act as if the thing we want is outside us and we have to desperately plead for it. The Source uses this really stark analogy.
Okay.
It says, whoever gives a beggar anything really good, you give them scraps, right? Leftover food, maybe some pocket change.
Sure, not your best stuff.
Right. And that illustrates how that beggarly attitude, that mindset of poverty and need, it just tends to attract more scraps, not real abundance. That feeling of needing just magnetizes more need. In relationships, money, health, it applies across the board.
Okay, so if we stop the begging mindset, what then? Do we just sit and wait, or does it lead somewhere else? Because the Source mentioned something about stealing. That sounds counterintuitive.
Right, it does sound weird at first. But stealing here isn't about taking physical objects, it's about manipulation. It's using emotional games, maybe little white lies, or putting on a completely false front to get approval, or validation, or love. Why? Because deep, deep down, we don't believe we're actually worthy of getting it, honestly.
So we try to sneak it.
Yeah, we try to sort of take it by deception. Think about relationship insecurity, for example. The Source mentions things like checking your partner's phone or constantly trying to control situations to avoid being left.
Right, the fear of abandonment.
Exactly. And often it's not even really about the other person. It stems from this core belief inside. I'm not really lovable enough as I am. So you try to steal that security, that love, because you don't trust you can attract it just by being you.
Wow, okay. And this is where Milana or Rumi comes in with that quote about horseshoes.
Yes, it's such a powerful line. How long will you steal horseshoes from these donkeys? If you must steal, then steal jewels.
Steal jewels? What does he mean? Horseshoes from donkeys sounds pretty low value.
Exactly. Milana is basically saying, look at where you're putting your energy. If you're going to be intense, if you're going to strive and steal in this metaphorical sense, aim higher.
Aim higher than
Chasing these trivial things, these horseshoes like fleeting validation or superficial approval, things that are common but don't really nourish you. Instead, steal jewels.
when the jewels are.
The feeling of connection to your true self, to God, to the universe, whatever your word is. That feeling of inner richness, of self-sufficiency, that's the real treasure. Don't waste your energy chasing cheap substitutes. And this ties in beautifully with something the Dalai Lama apparently mentioned in the Source. If you want to be selfish, be intelligently selfish.
Intelligently selfish. How does that fit?
It means finding the path that directly leads you to what you truly desire, deep down, that connection with your authentic self. Not getting sidetracked by all the superficial stuff that society tells you to want, but which ultimately leaves you feeling empty. It's selfish in the sense of focusing on your true fulfillment.
Which connects back to Krishna.
Perfectly. Krishna's promise in the Gita. When you find yourself, all your needs are fulfilled. The answer isn't frantically trying to get all the things you think you lack. It's dissolving the need itself by realizing, wait, nothing I truly need is outside of me.
Okay, so if we have everything inside, why do we feel so limited so often? The Source talks about walls we build. What are they?
Yeah, the walls, the Source says we literally buy into limitations. We construct these mental barriers that honestly only exist in our own minds.
Or maybe in the minds of people who put them on us.
True, others can contribute, but ultimately they only have power over us if we believe in them. Think about beliefs like, I'm not smart enough, or I could never do that, or I don't deserve happiness.
Well, they're definitely walls.
They're mental constructs. They block us, even when there's no actual physical barrier. And this connects to an even bigger idea the Source brings up.
Which is
the entire universe is happening within you.
Whoa. Okay. That's big. So we're not just stuck inside our heads or bodies.
Not fundamentally. We're much more vast than we usually perceive ourselves to be. Those walls are illusions, shrinking our experience of that vastness.
If we're not just the physical body, then there's an analogy in the Source.
Yeah, the lamp analogy, it's pretty helpful. Think of a lamp, it has a physical form. The glass, the filament, the base, the plug.
Okay.
But it doesn't do anything. It doesn't light up unless it's connected to
The electricity.
Right. We are not just the lamp, the physical body. We are the electricity, the life force, the awareness, you can call it chi, prana, whatever, term resonates, it animates the lamp.
Ah, I see. We're the energy, not just the vessel.
Exactly. And the Source says when you truly realize yourself as this awareness, this animating energy, your needs are fulfilled. Because that energy is abundance, it is connection.
This sounds amazing, truly transformative,
Same
but
for you.
okay, how do we do this? The Source admits there isn't some easy step-by-step guide. Where do we even begin?
Yeah, that's the crucial point. Finding yourself, accessing this awareness, it takes action, it takes effort.
Not just wishful thinking.
Definitely not. You can't just sit around and wait for it to magically happen. You have to actively seek it. Just like, we actively learned how to worry or how to scroll endlessly on social media.
Ah, good point. We practice those things.
We do. So this requires that same kind of intentionality, but pointed inwards, towards uncovering what's already there.
And there's that metaphor, right?
Yeah.
The boat, the wind, the sail. How does that help us understand the journey?
It's a really great way to picture it. Think of it as co-creation. God, or the universe, life itself that provides the wind, the guidance, the support, the opportunities are always blowing, so to speak.
Okay, the wind is there.
But you own the boat. It's your life. Your job is, 1, to raise your sail. And the Source suggests the main way to do that is through practices like meditation.
Okay, raise the sail.
And 2, you have to throw out all the extra weight you've been carrying around in the boat. All that heavy stuff that stops you from catching the wind.
Extra weight, like, what?
Like old traumas from childhood, limiting beliefs you picked up, grudges, unforgiveness, all that baggage.
Right, but aren't traumas real? Things that happen?
Oh, absolutely, things happen.
Yeah.
But the Source offers a really interesting perspective, kind of shifting from maybe a purely Freudian view where the past dictates everything,
Okay.
towards something more like Alfred Adler suggested. Adler's idea was less that we're just victims of our past and more that we often actively choose to carry those past experiences, those traumas, as justifications.
Justifications for what?
For not taking action now, for not pursuing our dreams, for staying stuck. Like, oh, I can't do X because Y happened to me. We use the past as an excuse for present inaction. It's a subtle but really empowering shift in perspective.
So we lighten the boat by letting go of those justifications. We raise the sail through practice. Then what about getting help from the world? Does support just show up if we stop begging? The Source mentions creating value and a cycle of goodness.
Yes, exactly. Instead of begging, the shift is towards creating value, contributing something positive to the world from that place of feeling abundant, not lacking.
So give first.
In a sense. When you put good out there, when you create value, the Source suggests the universe responds. It uses other people as vehicles to bring support back to you.
But not necessarily the person you helped directly?
Not always, no.
Yeah.
It's described more like a larger cosmic cycle. You put good into the system, and the system ensures good comes back to you, often in unexpected ways. There's that proverb, bro.
That's right.
Do good and throw it in the river, and God will return it to you in the desert.
Ah, I like that. So trust the process.
Yeah. The Source even gives examples, like receiving help from complete strangers just when needed. It emphasizes. That's not just random people being nice. It's the universe responding to the value you're creating and the inner space you've cleared.
And connecting all these threads, it seems to keep coming back to meditation as a key practice.
It really does. Meditation is presented as the #1 way to both raise that sail and systematically ditch the extra weight.
Even with distractions, people see colors, images.
Yeah, the Source acknowledges that stuff happens. Seeing colors, having thoughts, images popping up, that's normal. The advice is simple. Notice it. Don't fight it. But gently bring your focus back. Back to the breath.
The breath as the anchor.
Always the anchor. Keeps you present, connected to that inner life force, and it helps you gradually untangle all that mental clutter, those false beliefs that build the walls in the first place.
So bringing this all together for everyone listening, what's the big takeaway? It seems this whole deep dive is telling us that real abundance, real joy, it's not out there to be begged for or manipulated.
Not at all.
It's our inheritance. It's already ours, like a birthright we just need to wake up to and claim by understanding who we really are.
Absolutely. The core message is just so clear. Stop begging. Let go of asking from that place of lack, of feeling incomplete. Turn inwards. Find that place inside you that knows it already has everything, that is abundance itself.
And there's this really powerful call to action from the Source, almost a promise. You cannot not succeed. Success is inevitable for you. That's amazing. You just have to do the work. You just have to do your meditation. You just have to stick by yourself.
It really emphasizes that inner commitment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Recognizing your own power and staying consistent.
Yeah. So maybe a final thought for you to consider, something to chew on.
Okay?
If maybe, just maybe, part of your identity right now is tangled up with those past stories, those traumas, those reasons why you can't live fully, are you actually willing to throw that stuff overboard?
That's the real question.
Yeah. Are you willing to lighten your boat, even if it means letting go of familiar justifications?
Yeah.
What could your life possibly look like if you really did set that sail free and clear?